Well, welcome back, everyone. First, I have a confession and then a little sidebar. The confession is I've been looking forward to this interview for 2.5 weeks. And the second thing, we're going back to 1975. Yep, 1975. And there's this young accountant named Herb Chesbrough running around the grounds of SPAC. There's me. I was just hired to run concerts in the theater. And I keep noticing this guy who he'd be in one place 1 second, the next second he was over here, the next second he was over here, always knew where he was. And they said, that's Ed Lewi. He helps with public relations and here at SPAC. And then soon thereafter, I noticed this woman, and because Ed's crazy. So this woman was just like, no, Ed, this way. Nope, Ed, come on over here. Keeping it all organized, keeping it all glued together. And quite honestly, that hadn't changed in the 10 years probably prior and in the 40 years since. And that's my guest today. This is Maureen Lewi.
That's all very true.
It's all very true. Welcome, Maureen. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, to reminisce. What great days.
They were phenomenal days. Let's take a little walk back there. It's mid-70s or whatever. Some refer to that era as 70s to mid-80s as really the golden era of SPAC. You know, and I don't mean that in a critical way. I just really mean that was the time when Balanchine was there, Eugene Ormandy was there, Lincoln Kirstein was there, Baryshnikov and Peter Martins were principal dancers at the same time at New York City Ballet. Wow, let's see, where would we start? Let's move into the 70s there. One of the big issues that you and Ed worked on was, at that time, the ballet was, oh, I can't go, I'm not dressed properly, I don't know who they are, oh, I don't think I like ballet. And you were given the task of saying, wait a minute, community, the ballet company is part of Saratoga. And what was that like?
Well, it was very different dealing with the board members who really were the people who were wealthy, culturally educated, and we needed to bring it to the people. And Ed was great at that because he would bring them everywhere, to the racetrack, to shopping centers.
That's right.
He had Mr. B in a carriage coming down Broadway, which I never thought that would happen, but it did. And he took the members of the orchestra to Dannemora, and they played Slaughter on 10th Avenue at Dannemora. I mean, just everywhere. So I think it changed the image, and people realized this is something we all like, and it's fun to go to SPAC. He made it a fun place, which he did everywhere he went.
Oh, you want to know something? It just reminds me of what you're saying. If it's not fun, don't do it.
That's right.
That was kind of Ed's motto,
It
right?
was definitely Ed's motto.
You know, and when I say Ed, I mean Ed plural, because Maureen was always with Ed, and like I said, keeping Ed centered and focused and moving in the right direction, because he was an idea factory. He was just like every 2 seconds he had another idea. And the other thing that's important is that you have to know, when we refer to Mr. B, that's George Balanchine, and this is very prim and proper people, and here's Ed getting them to pretty much, come on, let's
do everything.
Let's get in the trenches, you know, let's have some fun. Remarkable career the both of you have had. Not only were you such an integral part of SPAC, but then you could put the Olympics on that. You can put NYRA on that. You can put some of the major corporations in our area, like Price Chopper. You can put Charles Wood in there and Paul Newman in there. I mean, you get the idea. You guys attained the level of success that you earned, by the way, by just always being where the action was, right?
Right,
you
exactly.
know what I mean?
Well, I used to say to Ed, you know, you're the only person I know of who can build a place where everyone is having so much fun that everybody else wants to go there.
Yes, that's right.
And that's kind of what he did.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I gotta go. We're gonna go back and tell just a couple of quick stories. I love the world's largest cake. Do you remember this?
I remember it to a T.
You do? Okay. I happened to be there at the grounds doing whatever I was doing back then at SPAC, and you really did. You needed scaffolding. Tell a quick story.
Huge. The scaffolding, I don't even know how many feet, 40 feet high. Freihofer had all of their people over there. They made the cakes, put it together, and then frosted it at the Art Center.
That's right.
And, of course, it was jam that night, and everyone was to get a piece of birthday cake. So the Freihofer people, Neil Golub, because Price Chopper was also a sponsor that night, Ed, Herb, everyone chipped in and started cutting cake. And I took one look at those guys. They were all dressed up in these beautiful suits, gorgeous silk ties. They were covered with frosting, even on their noses. So it was kind of a fun thing. I wish I had had a telephone camera then.
Yeah, you know what? We're back, of course, we were before the era of cell phone videos and stuff like that. Oh, and, and probably enough SPAC stories to fill all 30 minutes. But, it was a very different time then. A lot less commercial,
yes,
correct?
Correct.
And I'm thinking of concerts like the Grateful Dead, where they broke 40,000 people, and it was absolute rock and roll chaos. Jay Giles' band, the night that the band made the unfortunate mistake of inviting the audience on stage, and they stormed the stage.
Yes,
Remember
yes,
that?
I do remember it well.
You, me, and Ed were backstage and
ran to the
them.
backstage.
Yeah, ran to the back. You didn't want to be out there in that light?
No, I don't think so. And the Who still holds the record.
That's right, absolutely. Ed and Maureen used to sit. You had seats, special seats, because you needed to get backstage in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
Right?
If something happened, the press area was upstairs behind the stage, so we used to sit right there so we could scoot up quickly.
And in typical Ed Lewi fashion, Ed passed away a year ago, Travers, and that was the tribute at the track that day was absolutely phenomenal. I'll never forget it. Let's face it, sad. Ed's gone, but the celebration outdid Ed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And only Ed would save his death until Travers Day. He had to make a splash.
Well, if it's not fun, don't do it, I think is what we said. Maureen is now involved with a bunch of volunteer organizations around town. We almost didn't want to say it. So when we keyed it on screen, I just thought, let's do retired person. Yeah.
Yes,
you give new meaning to retired, by the way.
I just don't get paid.
Yeah, and Ed is now on the Walk of Fame at SPAC, which is richly deserved. So, Maureen, thank you so much for coming in. I just wanted to catch up with you.
We had so many great times.
You know what? we surely did. And say hi to Joey and say hi to Jim, please, okay?
Thank you.
Very nice to have you here.
Thank you.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.